We're here live at the Scheller College of Business uncovering a serious epidemic as it unfolds. These students don't know crucial financial management concepts.
You know what the profitability index is?
Profitability index?
Yeah.
No, I do not.
No. Me neither.
At one point, probably. Right now, I could guess, and I don't want to.
Okay, that's fair. Do you know what the net present value or NPV is?
I do not.
No. Me neither.
No, I do not.
Wait, what does IRR mean again?
Internal rate of return.
Do you know what internal rate of return is?
I have no idea.
Do you know what the internal rate of return is?
In this broadcast, we will be spreading the crucial knowledge about NPV, IRR, and PI. Hi, my name's Zara.
Hi, my name is Anna.
Hi, my name is Rafia.
Hi, my name is Jo Joyle.
Hi, my name is Chloe Nam.
Hi, my name is Umayma Bassett.
Net present value or NPV is the difference between the present value of future cash flows and the cost of investment. Since you need to estimate the timing and the amount of future cash flows, NPV is an estimate and can't be observed in the market. To get NPV, project all future inflows and outflows associated with an investment, discount those future cash flows to the present day, and then add them all together. This leads us to the net present value rule, which states that if NPV is positive, then the investment should be accepted as the effect on share value is favorable, and if the NPV is negative, then vice versa. In isolation, NPV and IRR give you the same accept or reject decision. However, when you compare two projects, use the NPV as the decider. So why is that? The goal of managers is to create maximum wealth for shareholders. So while IRR and PI are percentage measures, the NPV measures wealth created after it accounts for cost, project terms, and the cost of capital. Therefore, when different measures give different rankings, use NPV as the criteria. In summary, you want what gives you more money regardless of returns.
Hi, my name is Jo, and I'm going to show you guys how to use the NPV function. So the NPV function is called equals NPV. You do that, and then you can open up the brackets and put in your rate. The rate we're going to use at first is going to be 0%. After the rate, you put a comma and you select the values from time 1 all the way to the last time. So the cash flow at time 1 all the way to the last cash flow. And then you close the brackets, and then you add cash flow at time 0. And then you click enter, and that would give you your NPV. The way to do it with the formula is using this formula for the NPV. So the first element here would be the negative of the cash flow of time 0. And to that, you add cash flow of time 1 over 1 plus the IRR, which we calculated over here using the IRR function. And that would be part of the denominator, 1 plus the IRR raised to 1 because it's time 1, plus the cash flow at time 2 over 1 plus the IRR over 2 because it's time 2. And you continue that all the way to the last cash flow at time t over 1 plus r raised to t.
The internal rate of return, or more commonly known as IRR, is the required return or cost of capital that results in a 0 NPV when used as a discount rate on an investment. It's internal in the sense that it depends only on the cash flows of a particular investment, not on rates elsewhere. There is a rule associated with IRR that should be followed to decide whether or not to invest. The rule is an investment is acceptable if IRR exceeds the required return, otherwise should be rejected. While IRR is helpful, it does have its flaws. Sometimes cash flows are not conventional, which causes issues with IRR. This may result in having multiple IRRs, which we don't want. However, IRR is beneficial because it is closely related to NPV, which often results to identical results.
Hi, my name's Zara, and I'll be explaining the math of the IRR. So the fact that it's the discount rate that makes NPV equal to 0 actually is super helpful for us calculating the return. We're still using the general NPV equation, just with the equation, the NPV set to 0, but the required return being the variable. This is very easy to solve for when we have just a single period investment. As you can see over here, it's just pretty easy algebra. But when we start getting into more complex problems with more complicated cash flows, that's when we start need to using trial and error or use a calculator. As you can see here, I've set up a little cash flow thing. And the math is, I've set up the math as well with the NPV equal to 0 and our negative cash flow at time 0 plus our cash flow at time 1 divided by 1 plus the IRR to the first power, so on and so forth. So if we're doing this problem by hand, we would need to test out multiple IRR values until we got the one that made it equal to 0. So as you can see, I've done that. And as you can see, it's taken a lot of trial and error. As you may be wondering, is there an easier way to do this? Yes, there is. It's just a super simple function on Excel, equal IRR. All you need to do is highlight the cash flows, including your negative times 0, and you get your IRR. And as you can see, I've also worked out the math, so you can see that it does equal 0 when we put it into the NPV function once again. Thank you.
So the profitability index is the ratio between the present value of cash inflows and the present value of cash outflows. This ratio measures the monetary benefits received for each dollar invested. It is basically a comparison between the present value of future cash flows received from a project and the present value of cash outflows, or the amount invested used to initially fund the project. In corporate finance, the primary use case for the profitability index ratio is for ranking projects and capital investments. The higher the ratio, the more attractive the proposed project is and the more likely it will be pursued. For example, if the profitability index ratio is 1, the project is marked as neutral or acceptable. If the profitability index is greater than 1, then the project is most likely to be approved. And if the profitability index is less than 1, then the project is most likely to be rejected.
So let's talk about math and Excel function of PI. For math formula, PI equals to present value of future cash flows divided by initial investment. In nominator, present value of future cash flow is NPV of cash flow from t equals 1 to t equals last period, and it is equal to fair price. And the denominator, initial investment, is equal to the market price. For cash flow at t equals 0, we take absolute value and make it positive since it is an outflow. Now let's look at the Excel function. We use NPV function for denominator, and the rate of NPV function would be equal to firm's required return, which is WACC. Cash flow at t equals 0 is market price, but since it is an outflow, we're also going to take the absolute value and make it positive. Now let's look at the practice problem of PI. We have cash flow from t equals 0 to t equals 4, and our required return is 9% in this problem. So when we use Excel function of PI, we get the answer of 1.8075, and we also have math formula right here. So therefore, our PI would be acceptable because it is more than 1. Thank you.
Imamo gives you more money regardless of returns. Wow, now I learned about these major financial topics. The NPV is the difference between the present value of future cash flows and the cost of investment. The IRR is the IRR on an investment is the required return that results in NPV equals 0. The profitability index is the ratio between the present value of the inflows and the present value of the outflows.